Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, traders. Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to Daily FX Analysis. Let's just start with yesterday's economic calendar, guys. BOC interest rate decision come in as forecast, although there does seem to be the idea out there that the CAD will drop because of this. Um, there, an interest rate hike sooner rather than later was being priced in, guys. And when we look at the CAD charts, we'll see a long movement on them. That will probably be pulled back a little bit. So possibly some short trades against the CAD or long, depending on which side of the equation the CAD's on, guys. I have flipped a story about that US CAD bulls stepping in and eye correction towards 61.8 golden ratio, blah blah blah. Really, what they're saying is that it's potentially been overbought. And if you go and look at the actual story, which we have in here, US CAD popped and stopped overnight as Bank of Canada left interest rates unchanged, although signalled concerns over elevated inflation that could persist longer than previously thought, just like the Fed have done, just like the Bank of England have done. US CAD ended around 126. The stage is being set by the Bank of England or Bank of Canada for a shift in policy early next year. Inflation is elevated, and the impact of global supply constraints is feeding through to a broader range of goods prices. Yes, we all know that. The effects of these constraints and prices will likely take some time to work their way through, given the existing supply backlogs. Nevertheless, the loonie fell as traders that had positioned for a more hawkish outcome pulled their positions, expecting that the Bank of Canada will not move until at least the second quarter of 2022. So, end of December, first quarter into March, maybe, when they're going to move. So for a period of time, there may be a pullback on the CAD. So for anyone trading, jumping in and out, as it were, there's possibly a short trade to be had on the CAD, just as there was on the pound, for the very similar reasons, guys. Omicron coming along and pushing back what was perceived to be the Bank of England were going to step in and increase interest rates because of inflation, and then it was pushed back because the UK are starting to introduce stricter COVID mandate, guys. So let's see how that looks in the charts. Let's just finish the economic calendar, guys, and then we'll see how that looks. Today, inflation and yuan loans in China, and then inflation in Mexico. I don't trade either of those, so it doesn't mean anything to me. And then tomorrow, we've got inflation, Germany, GDP, UK, core inflation in the US, probably the most important information of the week, guys. Okay, let's get over to the charts. We'll come back to that one in a moment. Yen, still running flat, guys. The market's still trying to work out if Omicron's going to be a big problem or not. Yesterday, the stock markets boomed again, guys, after Tuesday, where we had the biggest move since March. Biggest move up since March. I expected a drawdown on that yesterday, didn't get it. We get another boom day yesterday, which is fantastic because we're clawing back some of that money we lost last month. Yeah, maybe we're going to draw down today. But I'm a lot more confident now than I was a week or so ago, guys. Because I thought Omicron would have been the thing that would trigger the correction that the market needs to have. And hopefully that'll be maybe pushed out a little bit longer, or may just be something that comes out as a flat. The market may just run flat this year, guys. Okay, We're certainly not going to get the growth that we had last year, guys. DXY. Now, we had this up over here, and I pointed out that when you get something like that, which is a bit of a diagonal, guys, I don't want to count waves on it, but often then you get this and you get the other side of it, which, if I'm accurate about it, possibly down there somewhere. So we did get a move down yesterday. The alarm went off. It pushed on down. I think it already moved a little bit yesterday. And what I had done is moved the alarm to there. And it went off and we pushed down. And now we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Now, this is where I'm a little bit wary, guys, because I've read that story about the CAD, and I'm kind of interested in trying to take that trade. But at the same time, I'm still a little bit wary of trading the dollar long yet, because I would prefer to see this structure completing before it goes. But you don't always get what you put in your Christmas list, guys. Sometimes things will just go, and maybe that's it. That could be the other side of that. I would still be wary. I would still be a lot happier trading the dollar long from there, folks. So with that in mind, then we got to run through everything else. So what we did say, we were looking at these in the 4 hours, guys. That's why these moves look so massive. What we did say was that because of that structure and because of that structure on the dollar, on DXY, I was very wary of trying to trade that short, even though I do think that it will go short. But at this juncture, or yesterday, I said it'd be a bad time to try and trade this short. And sure enough, we had to push up and the breakout. Now what we need to know is this going to push up and kind of give us the other side of that before we get a drop? Like, quite possibly. So the ideal place to try and trade this down would be here. Now, whether we're going to get that or not is another thing. Of course, your trading strategy will determine how you go about that. But if your belief is, like mine, that the dollar is going to continue to strengthen as the market looks for hikes into next year, then there will be another leg down in this, guys. I don't know where exactly to, but there will be another leg down. And therefore, it's about where to get in. Do you get in here and hope that this is it and it starts to drop? Well, if you wanted to do that, the only way that I would get involved in that would be with a small trade with a large stop loss, so that if it does come up further, you can short it again and, get yourself a bigger position. And then as it comes down, obviously that will be in the green, and then you'll start to get more green here. Or maybe at that stage, you could just take that one off, as a get it off the table. Sometimes I do. It's not always the best plan, guys, because by that stage you have a nice position, and then on it down you go. But if you took that off at that point, the only advantage that would give you would be that you've got this one at zero. If it turns out that we've got it wrong and it takes off again, then you've come out of it with nothing. But that's just something to think about, guys. I did say that I would make this short, so let's get on with it. Use your own trading strategy, guys. I can't do everything here. Pound US dollar. I think this is going to continue to fall, but I don't see a setup for it. The best case scenario for anyone wanting to trade, unless you're already in it, of course, would be that you got what we've been looking for, which would be a bit of a flat run. Problem being that with the increase in restrictions in the UK, people have been advised to work from home. So it may just continue short from here, folks, and push on down, maybe to 130, something like that. So if you're interested in that little move there, maybe you could try and trade that down. Aussie USD, I'm looking for a setup here, guys, in order to trade it short. Same as with the euro. And the CAD's, oh, is the CAD the same? Hold on. No, the CAD's the other way around, folks. So looking for that to pull back in order to trade it. We don't know that it's going to look like that, guys, but just use that as an example. Maybe it could drop from here. If you went short from here, guys, and it turned back up, you at least have your stop to zero. New Zealand, same thing. There's a little bit of a move there. Let's get this out of the 4 hours here. Sorry, I'm a little bit hoarse today, guys. There's a little bit of a move down there. But remember, if we go back to DXY, we've still got it in our heads that there is a possibility of this moving, having another leg down, or maybe a couple of legs down into this sort of area before I'd be really confident of trading it up. But it doesn't mean I'm right, guys. That's just looking at this, as a correction. And from there, you'd be a lot happier trading along. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean these won't happen. It just means have it in the back of your mind whether you think this is the best place to try and trade that short. US CAD, same thing. I've actually taken this one, guys. I don't know how brave I'm going to be on it. I haven't been very brave recently with currency trading. For anyone that's listening in who doesn't normally listen in, I took a 2 or 3 month break in the summer. I've been back at this for about a month, and it does take you a while to get the feel for it again. So I'm getting the feel for it, but not necessarily enough to be brave with it. So, I've taken that long. I'll maybe take it up, take it as a bit of a correction. The worry I have with it is that if DXY does drop, then this could end up, running flat for a little bit. But based on what we read from the Bank of Canada there, and it looks pretty oversold, not oversold, not the right word, overbought. The CAD I'm talking about here, guys. So it wouldn't be unusual to see it pulling back like that before moving again if that's what it was going to do, but it would then have to move against the dollar. And by the time the CAD gets back round to, or the Canadian Bank of, the National Bank of Canada gets round to increasing interest rates, maybe the Fed are that much closer to increasing interest rates as well, and therefore you might not see another big leg down on the CAD. There's a thought. Anyway, I've taken that long. And part of the reason I've taken it long is, guys, I've actually been quite good recently at calling things and then getting into them and getting out too soon. And because I've been more focused on the stock market, which has been giving me a headache, obviously, this last month. And I think that's been influencing, well, I don't think, I know it's been influencing my decision making in the currency markets, guys, and it shouldn't do. But I have opened quite a few trades over the last month or so and closed them in short order. And so many times they've run for me. And if I had stayed in them, we would have done very well with them, guys. Okay, US Swiss, yet again, guys, are we going to get the second leg down, or a further extension of the drawdown on DXY, which means we could potentially get that. If not, then we're going to get that. So I'm not going to trade it, but, do you wait for that and miss that? Same here. Little flat coming in there, guys. Is there one more down there to give us a 5? After potentially 2 3s, I don't know. I'm guessing there's 2 3s in there. It's a double top, C wave, A, B, C. For anyone that's new, they don't always look beautiful, guys. They don't always look like that. But if you look at it in general, that's kind of what it looks like. An A, B, a C, which could break there before it goes. And if you're a perfectionist, I would then wait for it to break there. If it doesn't break there, then you don't take the trade. But I do think it will continue to move long after this correction, whatever form it is taking, is over. US yen, pushing up, guys. Same story. Are we going to get one more leg down in the dollar before it goes, or is it going to go from here? Remembering that it could go up like that, remember. Gold, not doing anybody any favors at the minute. Silver, guys, whenever either of these get to a level that I think they're worth investing in again, then we'll talk more about them. At the moment, I'm kind of fed up with them because I've been locked in them for months. Bitcoin, we discussed this at length yesterday on the higher time scale, guys. Would love to see it dropping down to here and potentially continuing long in a channel. And Ethereum's a little bit like that as well. There's the channel there, guys. Is it going to drop down to the bottom of the channel before going long? Of course, that channel may be completely wrong, in which case it may just take off out of here. Let's just clean it all up a little bit. It's entirely possible this is a 5-wave impulse. Although, if you were to break that down, then you're going to struggle. But if you're going to call that an impulse and a zigzag and an impulse and some sort of ABC, ABC, zigzag, that's more of a zigzag and an ABC. Is it over and this leg is the next one to go? Or are we going to stay in this for a little while longer before it goes? I don't know. But what I do know is I'd be a lot happier getting involved if it was down there somewhere. As I did, was it there? We're on 4 hours. No, August. No, it was here. I got in here, I'm pretty sure, and then took my profit and then kind of missed that. Oil. I think in the medium term, oil's going to stay in this band here, guys, but it may well push on up later. Euro CAD. There's a little pullback there in the CAD, guys, after I don't know when I drew that. I must be careful that I don't draw arrows after the fact. I really should draw these properly, guys. So potentially there's more upside to that, but I would rather trade it against the dollar. Here was there is a bit of a trend running there, guys. I was looking for that to come down to there. That's off the cards now. We were just looking at that and going 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and therefore even up to this point, we could have had that. But it looks like that's off the cards now, guys. Don't know. If I don't know that one, then I don't know this one. The only thing I was saying about this the other day was there's potentially an ending diagonal in there. Now, as we know, hold on, let's go back to that Aussie. No, it's not giving me any clues. There was that little structure there that looked like an ending diagonal on maybe the 1 hour time scale. And then we got that push up, which kind of threw me out. No, I'll just leave those. You see, I see weakness in the euro, guys, so I don't want to suddenly start calling it long. Although, when we got that, we said this looks like an ending diagonal, wait for the breakout, and then a setup to potentially trade it long. Well, we have a breakout and a pullback. So am I now brave enough to try and trade that up? I'm not, because I don't like trading the euro. Euro Swiss. I just have it in my head that the euro's weak. I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't like the euro. And I very rarely trade it, guys. Okay, it was the same with the Euro Swiss. I said, let's look to see if we can get a breakout. Then, if we get a setup, maybe we trade it long. Pound CAD. Now, that's a similar structure as US CAD. It is similar, but look how it's pushed up further there. But that structure there, pushed down, and then I saw someone describing it as a head and shoulders. I'm not buying into that. You see the similar structure. But there's weakness in the pound at the minute, guys, so I'm not going to try and trade that up. If it does come up, then I'll look to trade it down. Pound Oz, same thing. If it comes up, then I'll look to trade it down. Over here, we were looking for probably 4 hours, guys. That's why the drawing looks so out of proportion. So in here somewhere, we were kind of looking for a correction to get into it. We got that little thing and then off it went. You'll be looking for the same thing here, guys. You got to be looking for something in here, potentially to set you up to go short. I've changed my mind about the pound, guys. We were looking for it to go long. We have that move. It's potentially 5 waves with the pullback. Probably get a push up there, and let's see if it drops again. Pound Swiss. Pound Euro. We get the euro pushing down against the pound. Right, so I think that's off. Just the Bank of England's pushed back its plan to increase interest rates, guys. So pound short for me, but has it already moved short? That's what I'm a bit unsure about the pound. Pound yen, yet again, we had the ending diagonal, a little bit of a push up there, but it stalled again. So we'll just leave it alone. Aussie yen. Yeah, looking to trade this up. Of course, if the stock market decides that it's going to panic again, then you will get a move short on the yen. But if you got a little setup here and everything stays nice, that could potentially be a trade there, guys. Aussie New Zealand long. This is one of the ones we were talking about that I was in from down here and then just got out of it. That would have been a nice trade to stay in. I think there's more upside to this. It's just, is there going to be a correction before it goes? Aussie Swiss. Yet again, I would look for some sort of, pullback before looking to trade it long. So from a trading point of view, guys, what are we talking about here? Well, what I'm saying is if you're in it and you've got to there, either take your profit or if you think it's going to continue long, which it may well do, put your stop to zero or whatever, move it up a little bit if you want to protect that. If you're going to be in it long term, then I wouldn't bother moving it too close, because there should be some sort of correction here. If you're not in it, then you have to wait for the correction in order to get into it, or you don't have to. You'd be wise to wait for the correction to get into it. And the reason that we're saying this is because, number one, that's what we always do. But number two, if the stock market decides to have another madness, another crazy time, you will see the Swiss and the yen go long, which in this case would move it in that direction. So you do need to be careful. So if you're not in it, I'd wait just to see if, let's see if things settle. Maybe it runs flat, and then wait to see if it's going to break out. And if you're in it, at least get your stop to zero. Aussie CAD. There's the pullback in the CAD there, guys. You see it? Now, what next? This is one I rarely have anything to say about. But what I would say about it is that if they're right about the market's attitude towards the CAD, in that they were bullish and probably too soon, then you will get a pullback on it. You'll get profit taking on the people who were bullish back up here, which means that that could well drop further. Is that enough for me to want to try and trade it? Probably not at this stage. Swiss yen. It's running flat. If it were to come back down to here. Now, the difficulty with this, yet again, is structure, guys. That looks like it wants to do that. I still want to trade it in that direction, but because of that, the potential for that zigzag, I'm very wary of it. Now, there is the possibility that it breaks out and runs, and then I lament. But if you're going to trade day in, day out for years, folks, you cannot ignore structure. Because if you ignore structure, it's going to either make you lose over time, or at least take a sizable chunk out of profits that you've made somewhere else where you did pay attention to the structure, or where you ignored the structure and you were right, but you're not going to be lucky all the time. So my attitude towards structure is, when it looks like it wants to complete a zigzag, because we see them everywhere, then, and you're not in it, then wait. And if it comes down, then reconsider or have a closer look at your potential trade. And if you are in it, then you need to at least put your stop losses somewhere that if you're wrong and it doesn't take off out of there, at least then you either protected yourself by having to stop at zero, or you limited your downside risk. And if it comes down, it gets down into there, then you can buy in again and off you go, provided you get the right structure to get in, the right setup, guys. CAD, Swiss, it's another one that I was calling last week out of the back of that ending diagonal. I took the CAD yen and then closed it. But yet again, we called it and we took it. These are the things that I should be shouting about from the top of the trees in order to get more followers. But I just can't be. I can't be bothered, guys. Okay, so CAD yen. Let's see if we can get a little set up. It could go from there. I suspect there's more upside to it. Oh, no. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Sorry, guys. I just forgot everything I said earlier about the CAD. I'd be wary of this one now for a little while. The only thing that could push it up would be if the yen or the Swiss were to weaken. In other words, if the yen were to drop down here, or the that's the CAD, isn't it? You see that pullback in the CAD index there, guys? Where's the Swiss? This is the Swiss. Yeah, if this were to strengthen. So other than that, I would probably be taking my profit or at least getting my stop loss to zero. Would I climb into this and try and trade it up? No, not today. Let me think more about this, guys, because I was just about to say, hey, let's try and trade that long. But no, not with that warning about the CAD's going to pull back, guys. That doesn't mean these guys are right, but you do need to at least pay some attention. New Zealand yen, well, that one potentially could push on up. Yet again, we saw the ending diagonal in it. New Zealand CAD, maybe this is the time to start looking to trade that up. But I'd probably prefer the Aussie CAD. This, guys. And then New Zealand Swiss, potentially upside there. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I did say it'd be short. Just ideas, folks. Ideas. When I'm definite about something, I'll let you know. But for now, it's just ideas, and I'll always err on the side of caution, guys. Don't waste your hard-earned money on hunches. Speak to you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.